Big fat spoiler warning out of the gate. Welcome to the Chaos Multiverse. This is going to be a longer video because we have a plot leak for the Marvels movie. So if you're not into that or don't want to be spoiled if it ends up being true, click off the video right now. Every once in a while, we get a big plot leak of an upcoming comic book movie. More often than not, they've been right. We've got another one today that we're going to go over. Now, The Marvels is a sequel to Captain Marvel. It will tie into Miss Marvel, and you guys know how this works. It's not the most hyped up movie right now, so maybe, if this plot is true, it'll kind of get people going. Now, the film is set to release on July 28th of next year, but thanks to test screenings and various leaks, somebody has put together a full plot summary and put it out there for all of us. So we're going to go over the leak. I'm just going to read it as follows, and you guys let me know what you think. Once again, take it with a grain of salt, and here we go. Zaw Ashton's character is named Dar-Benn. I didn't see any tension, which, believe me, I was looking for. Now, comments are made about how Carol is obsessed with Dar-Benn, but it's made clear that it's because Carol doesn't trust her. And it's also made very clear that Carol isn't wrong for mistrusting her. She's quite obviously the villain. Now, Dar-Benn is the regular leader of the Kree, no side factions or anything like that, and in flashbacks, she witnesses Carol attacking the Supreme Intelligence, and that is her villain's origin story. The Kree refer to Carol as the Annihilator or something very similar, and she does not like that name. I think it's a really cool name. Now, Dar-Benn has a bangle. One bangle. Kamala has the other. No idea how she has it, but she does. She's using it as a power weapon, but she needs both. Now, there's a funny line where Dar-Benn demands to know how Kamala got such an ancient, powerful artifact, and Kamala responds, "My grandma sent it to me in the mail." Now, it wasn't explained in the rough cut that I saw, but almost immediately, Monica, Carol, and Kamala begin switching places every time they use their powers. Spoiler alert, if you've seen the end of Miss Marvel, that is pretty much confirmed. Monica is working on a space station, Swords, the Peak headquarters with Nick Fury. Kamala is at home, and Carol is trying to sneak into a Kree-Skrull peace summit because she doesn't trust Dar-Benn, who is the leader of the Kree. So Carol starts fighting Kree soldiers, and the men get switching with Kamala and Monica, and the Kree soldiers start switching with her. So at one point, Carol is on the Peak with Fury, while Kamala is at the Peace Summit, and Monica is fighting Kree soldiers in the Khan living room while the Khan family tries to hit them with brooms and screaming. Yeah, very fun sequence it sounds like. At the end, everybody, Nick Fury included, ends up in the Khan living room except Kamala. That ending scene in the Miss Marvel show is a direct shot from the Marvels. Carol leaves the house, tries to fly off, then they switch again, and suddenly Kamala is falling out of the sky, and Fury tells Monica she has to fly and save her. Monica resists because she doesn't know how to control her flight yet, but Fury yells, "Come on, black girl magic," and Monica flies and saves Kamala. However, she loses control on the way down, everybody is screaming, and at the last second, Monica and Carol switch, and Carol is able to stop before they hit the ground. Fury screams as they're dropping, and at the last second, it's just Carol. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of switching going on. It's interesting. Okay. Carol, Monica, and Kamala go off to investigate Dar-Benn, sticking together because they can't control the switching every time they use their powers. It's not explained except for some allusion to how their powers are similar or variations. That's how they're connected. They discover that Dar-Benn is using a new weapon to create unstable portals that steal resources like water, air, sun out of planets, and she sends the resources to the destroyed Hala to rebuild it. She's so far destroyed one planet at the beginning of the film for its atmosphere. She destroys a second at the Kree-Skrull peace talks. Then she goes after Aladana to steal their water. Carol has already been there and is reluctant to go back because she is the princess, married to Prince Yan in an accidental diplomatic mistake. Everybody on that planet sings as a way of communicating, so Bree sings. She has a lovely voice, but it's an awful sequence. They realize the planet is Dar-Benn's next target, and they go there to help fight her, to protect the planet and stop her rampage. The girls bond well before this in a montage on Carol's ship on the way there, and Monica helps Carol get used to working with Kamala. Carol yelled at Kamala in the early scene because Kamala froze up in a pivotal moment, and Monica reminds Carol that Kamala isn't a soldier, she's a kid. They also have conversations about how Carol left and never came back. So all three kind of work through their issues together, and it's later revealed that Carol did indeed come back and visit Maria more than once. So then Prince Yan doesn't have a crush on Carol. He and Carol are married, but Carol and Prince Yan seem to have a very platonic friendship and mutual respect. Nonetheless, Carol is very embarrassed about it and reluctant to visit the planet, and it's played out like she didn't understand the customs and she accidentally got diplomatically married to the prince at some point. The citizens of the planet worship her as a princess. Prince Yan himself is pretty cool and isn't played as a goofy trope, though. I'm reading this straight off, guys. But it is a whole awkward sequence that goes on for entirely too long. Monica is weirded out by the whole situation. Kamala is excited about it. Monica asks Kamala if they're going to put this in her Captain Marvel fanfiction, and Kamala says yes. So, Carol realizes that she's going after every planet that Carol has ever called home. It's a revenge act. Earth is the last part of that. Meanwhile, Fury takes the Khan family up to the space station to keep them protected so he can monitor the situation from there. Then we have a side plot on the space station with Fury. Some techs find some weird eggs inside all the space station machinery, and they're all worried about some kind of alien attack. These eggs hatch, and it's revealed that they are newborn Flerken kittens. That's pretty cool. Chaos ensues on the space station, and later the space station is damaged by Dar-Benn when she attacks Earth in the climax of the battle in the movie. There aren't enough escape pods to get everybody off the station before it crashes. So Fury comes up with an idea of feeding everyone on the station to the Flerken kittens and then putting all the kittens on the escape pods and getting to Earth safely that way. It's amusing, it's bizarre, and the whole film has this weird tonal clash between a standard Marvel movie and something goofier like Guardians, which I'm actually on board for. Monica and Carol go to Hala, and it's raining for the first time there, and surviving Kree are celebrating because Dar-Benn brought atmosphere and water back. Carol realizes that the Annihilator is accurate from their perspective. She destroyed this planet, and the survivors are struggling, and she's a great villain in their eyes, and she has a moral reckoning. Stopping Dar-Benn means destroying Hala all over again. So Monica gives her a little bit of a pep talk that basically amounts to, we can't save everyone, we have to let Hala be destroyed again. Carol reaffirms her desire to stop Dar-Benn, and then in addition to Dar-Benn destroying planets, her creation of portals makes the universe unstable, increasing the likelihood of an incursion. You guys remember incursions? It's another reason they have to stop her. An incursion happens in the climax. Carol fights Dar-Benn while Monica and Kamala try to fix the incursion. Monica ends up flying through this tear in the universe, fixes it from the other side, and ends up stuck in that universe. That is how the Marvels will be part of the multiverse saga. That's how they'll get involved with the incursions. Who knows which universe Monica's actually in? I'm sure we'll find out in the post-credits following the leak. The mods pinned a comment that gave some additional information that read, in response to a question about a Valkyrie cameo, she's in it for 2 brief scenes and is very good friends with Carol. At one point, Kamala is on Carol's ship by herself when Valkyrie calls. Valkyrie asks where Carol is and who Kamala is, and Kamala responds, I'm Miss Marvel. Valkyrie responds, she got married again and didn't invite me again, and Kamala quickly clarifies the miss part of it. Valkyrie makes an in-person appearance to escort the Skrull to safety with the Asgardians as favor to Carol. She gives Carol a pep talk, and they share a hug. So there you go. What do you think? Good, bad, in the middle? The Marvels isn't exactly the most hype movie right now, so do you think this plot leak will be a shot in the arm, catches people's interest? If it ends up being true, I think it's going to be a pretty fun ride. I do. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you soon.